Today on the island of Sodor, we will see what happens when a famous engine visits the island of Sodor. Then we will see what happens when diners get an unexpected visit from Thomas. And finally, we will see what happens when a new tram engine arrives on Sodor. Gordon takes a tumble. Today was an important day on the island of Sodor. A special engine was to come to visit the island and make its grand entrance at Knapford. One morning, Sir Topham Hatt arrived at Tidmouth to tell the engines the news.
A very special engine is coming from England to visit the island of Sodor. So, I need you all to be on your best behaviour.
Which engine is it, sir?
Asked Thomas.
The Flying Scotsman.
Ha! Gordon would love that, wouldn't you, Gordon?
Gordon fumed.
That show-off!
Oh, that's not nice, Gordon. He is your brother, isn't he?
But Gordon was not happy. When Gordon was parked in a siding, he heard a familiar whistle.
Scotsman? Oh dear.
Hello, little brother.
Stop calling me little brother! It's Gordon!
You're funny. Anyway, I hope you enjoy your day carrying freight.
Freight? What are you talking about?
You'll see.
When Gordon was at Knapford Yards, Sir Topham Hatt quickly rushed up to him.
Gordon, I know you're not going to like this, but Scotsman will be taking your passengers today.
Him? Scotsman? Why?
All the passengers want to ride on the visitors' train. Scotsman is enormously popular.
What will happen to me?
I need an engine to take some freight to the docks, and you are the only engine available.
Me? An express engine? Pulling freight? This is ridiculous.
Just then, the Flying Scotsman puffed grandly into the big station. Everyone cheered and cameras flashed. Gordon could see him from the other side. He fumed with jealousy.
Silly old brother. I can be better than him, and I can prove it.
As Thomas was coupling up the freight trucks to Gordon, he was being quite pushy.
Come on, couple up more trucks. I'll prove to everyone that I'm better than Scotsman.
Isn't this a bit much for you to pull, Gordon?
Pah! I've pulled much heavier loads than this.
Gordon's wheels screeched from the rails until he pulled away.
If I had to pull freight, I'll show Scotsman how well I can pull it.
But then there was trouble. Gordon was heading towards Knapford Station. He tried to stop, but he couldn't. His trucks pushed him through the platforms and off the rails.
Oh no!
Everyone stared blankly at Gordon.
What will the Fat Controller say?
And he found out soon enough.
Well, Gordon, you wanted to prove to Scotsman that you could be better than him, and you've proved today how silly you can be.
Yes, sir,
said Gordon sadly. When Gordon was put back on the rails, he puffed away to find Scotsman.
Brother, I'm sorry. I was just too big for my buffers. I guess we are good at our own things.
Well, Gordon, you finally understand.
Wait, you're calling me Gordon? Not little brother anymore?
Well, yeah. Seems that you've started to mature and learn your lesson.
Gordon beamed. The next day, Gordon was back to pulling the express. He is much happier now, but Gordon has now learned that he should never try to be someone he's not. Isn't that right, Gordon? Thomas comes to dinner. For the past few months, Thomas had been working to help build a new restaurant on Sodor. After many months of hard work, construction was finally completed. It's a very fancy restaurant owned by a famous chef named Gordon Ramsay.
The restaurant looks amazing from the outside. It'll probably look even better from the inside.
Why, hello there, little Thomas. I've just arrived with some of the most important people on the island. Sir Topham Hatt, Lady Hatt, Dowager Hatt, Mr. Percival, the Mayor, Alicia Botti, and also the new restaurant owner. They've all been invited for a very special dinner for the opening later today.
Whoa! Really? Where are they?
You chose a great place to have your restaurant. You know I'm somewhat of a food critic myself.
Yeah, I can tell.
Pardon me?
I would really like to go inside this restaurant and see what it's like. It's probably beautiful. I heard it has Michelin stars.
Yes, indeed. 7 of them. Ha ha!
Thomas was sitting in front of the restaurant. Some school children were on a field trip to visit the restaurant. However, since the restaurant had way too many guests, they had to wait outside. All Thomas could do was stare at the blank wall in front of him.
Okay, children, it's time to go inside now. Everyone follow me in a single file line,
said the teacher. Thomas's driver left Thomas alone so he could grab a bite to eat and followed the children inside the restaurant. Except for one. He snuck into Thomas's cab and was fiddling with the controls.
Excuse me, who's that in there?
The child just giggled cheekily.
Get out of my cab this instant, young man! If you're not careful, you could...
But it was too late. Thomas was sent rolling helplessly towards the restaurant.
Oh no, not again! Look out!
Smash went the wall as Thomas was once again poking out of the wall. All the diners stared blankly at Thomas.
Thomas, what are you doing?
Said Sir Topham Hatt while getting up from his table and wiping his mouth with a napkin.
I know you wanted to see inside the restaurant, but this is not the way to do it.
It's not my fault, sir. There was a child who jumped into my cab and I can't control myself.
Just then, Chef Ramsay ran out of the kitchen to see what the commotion was.
Oh no! What is this? What have you done, Sir Topham Donkey?
I'm very sorry about this. I will be able to pay for the damage.
Are you better, or you'll be washing dishes?
Oh, right.
Oh God, dear me. What am I going to do with this hole in the wall?
The teacher soon scolded the boy for what he had done.
You have lost the privilege of coming on to field trips till I say so.
And Gordon came to Thomas's rescue and pulled him out of the wreckage.
So, I bet you did get to see the inside after all, Thomas.
Well, certainly not how I expected to see it.
This gives me an idea.
A new extension had been built for the restaurant. There was an opening right where Thomas crashed, with rails and buffers, so Thomas could puff inside and look around through the glass. And he loved it. And the diners loved seeing the different types of engines puffing in. And Thomas couldn't contain his smile. Neither could Chef Ramsay.
His name's Sir Topham Hatt. Some people say he's stout, rather rotund, really quite round, but he doesn't see it like that.
He considers he's a gentleman of merit, with a railway exquisitely fine.
But his main aim is to see that his trains run right on time. Sir Topham Hatt, he's the head of the railway, there is no doubt about that. Controller of the line, it's plain as plain can be, for everyone to see that it's the Hatt Controllers Railway. One day he was having breakfast when Thomas decided to call. He He arrived unexpected and quite uninvited.
Straight through the dining room wall.
My goodness, said the controller. Why didn't you knock on the door?
This won't do at all. Just look at my wall and my breakfast on the floor. Sit top, ham, hat.
Tram trouble. Today was a special day on the island. Great Waterton was to open a new tramway and everyone was working hard to get their jobs done in time for the ceremony. But nobody was working as hard as Toby, the tram engine. Toby felt overworked. The quarry was busier than ever. As Mavis had to organise the trucks, Toby was the only engine who could travel along the tramway. Toby did his best, but with the trucks banging behind him, he struggled to keep to time. One day, Toby was very late getting to Knapford Station.
Oh dear.
Thought Toby,
What will the fat controller say?
but Sir Topham Hatt didn't say anything. He was rather preoccupied.
Lovely work on the new line, Topham. I simply cannot wait for the ribbon-cutting ceremony.
Enthused Dowager Hat.
When is the new tram engine arriving?
Soon, Mother, very soon.
Replied Sir Topham Hatt.
But I really must get back to work.
He scuttled to his office and hurriedly shut the door. Toby was very puzzled.
A new tram engine?
He pondered.
I wonder what that's all about.
Obvious, isn't it?
Diesel slithered into the station.
You've been late more times than I can count. The fat controller is replacing you with a new tram engine. Mind you, he'd be better off getting a diesel like me. You're too old to work on this island.
He'd never replace me.
Replied Toby.
What good are you if you can't keep to time? He's sending you to that new line, where you'll be out of the way.
Toby was worried. For the whole night, Toby was thinking about what Diesel had said.
What if Diesel was right? What if I will get replaced with new steam trams?
The next day, Toby was sleeping in a siding when he was awoken by excited cheers.
Oh, look at you, very precious indeed, and so sleek.
Toby opened his eyes. Dowager Hat was standing in the yard with Sir Topham Hatt and a bright yellow tram engine.
Oh, well, most kind of you, ma'am.
Blushed the new tram engine.
I hope I meet your expectations, and it was very kind of you to give me my own coach, sir.
No worries.
Smiled Sir Topham Hatt.
You're just what we need.
Toby was speechless.
Oh, looks like Diesel might be right after all.
What did I tell you? Sir Topham Hatt doesn't want old tram engines like you anymore. I'd say your goodbyes to your branch line while you still have a chance.
Diesel rolled away cackling. Toby's heart sank. It really did look like he was being replaced. Later, Toby found Thomas and Percy at the junction.
Toby, have you heard the news?
Oh, yes.
Sighed Toby.
I'm afraid so. It's been wonderful working with you two. Take care of Henrietta for me. She's been too useful to retire, unlike me. I'd best be off. I need to say goodbye to Mavis.
Thomas and Percy watched Toby trundle off, speechless.
Did we miss something?
Asked Percy.
I think so.
Replied Thomas.
We better have a word with the fat controller.
One of the last trains Toby left at the quarry had been overloaded. The trucks had bumped into each other as they crossed the lane, spilling some of their stone on the road. Toby hadn't noticed. And he still hadn't noticed as he came sadly up the lane.
I'm sure Mavis will take good care of the quarry. Now she can— Oh!
Toby clanged into a stone, bumped off the rails, and came to a stop.
Oh no! I'm sure to be replaced now.
He wheezed sadly. Quite soon, Toby heard a ring of a bell. Puffing up the lane was the new tram engine. Sir Topham Hatt was on board.
I'm sorry I've caused all this trouble, sir.
Sighed Toby.
I understand why you'd want to retire me now.
Retire you? Why would I do such a thing?
But what about that new line? And that new tram engine?
Sir Topham Hatt smiled.
The new line is a tramway in Great Waterton. We've built it for tourists and sightseers, and this is Flora. She will be running the tramway, and you will be helping her.
A pleasure to meet you, Toby,
said Flora politely.
I do hope you're all right. Looks like you've done a number on that cowcatcher.
You're to be mended straight away, Toby,
ordered Sir Topham Hatt,
as you will be helping Flora learn the line.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Toby was very relieved.
But who will look after the stone trains?
I'll take care of that,
winked Sir Topham Hatt. A few weeks later, Toby had been mended and the opening for the Great Waterton tramway arrived. Flora puffed in with her new coach, and out stepped Sir Topham Hatt, Lady Hatt, and Dowager Hatt. Toby and Henrietta helped Flora get used to the passenger services, and the two tram engines are now firm friends. And what about the stone trucks? Sir Topham Hatt sent Diesel to the quarry as punishment. His lies could do no harm there. Diesel learned to appreciate the work Toby did on the branch line. It made him glad to retire to his shed at the end of the day.